dog's deed is done.
What can I say? They were the best. They really stood out. They put it all together when it counts, and that's what this sport's all about.
What a routine.
And that just may do it for Georgia here tonight.
Wow.
The Jim Dog Show is brought to you by Melwood Springs. Melwood Springs from the Blue Ridge Mountains of North Georgia.
Hi, I'm Suzanne Yocklin. Welcome to the Jim Dog Show. And with me today, as always, is Associate Head Coach Jay Clark. And our team, once again, is ranked #1 in the country and #1 on bars. And our uneven bars was so consistent this past weekend, but the entire competition was a lot better. We really looked strong on 3 of the 4 events. And one of the greatest points about this competition this weekend was our freshman, Cassidy McComb.
Yeah, Cassidy had a great meet. This is her second time in the all-around this year. And up until this point, she had really not shown the mental capacity to stay focused and to hit 4 events in the same meet. And we put her out there, and she did a great job. It was just nice to see her compete with that level of confidence.
It was, and she scored a 39.55 in the all-around, which, by the way, is the highest all-around score of any freshman in the country this season. In addition to Cassidy, we had Katie Heenan back on floor exercise this past weekend for the first time. As you know, she has 2 herniated discs in her back, and so our Dr. Kelly Ward and our trainer, Anna Randa, have been trying to pace her through the season so she can do all 4 events at the national championships, and Katie's doing well and hit her floor routine, so that was nice to see. And Tiffany Tolnay, she had a great meet, too.
Absolutely. A nice bounce-back meet for Tiffany after having some trouble in warm-ups at Auburn. Had a great meet, finished with a 39.5 in the all-around, and just was really a very steady, consistent performer on everything on Friday night. And as you mentioned, getting Katie back, that's just gravy for us because she's been such a stalwart for us for the entire career that she's had here. And to get her back with the prospect of having her in the all-around going into the national championships, or in the SECs actually, is just a great added bonus to this team.
And it's interesting, you know, here we are ranked #1 in the country, and our 3 all-arounders, Courtney Kupets, Tiffany Tolnay, and Katie Heenan, have not been in a competition together as of yet. So we're looking forward to that hopefully next weekend. But before we talk about next weekend, let's take a look at the results from Georgia versus Kentucky from this past weekend at home in Stegman Coliseum. Here are the first 2 rotations.
Tiffany Tolnay bouncing back after a rough week at Auburn. A beautiful Yurchenko fold, just a slight hop there on the landing. Big vault, 9.9. That's a season high for Tiffany, and it looks like maybe she's coming around a little bit. Like to get those legs together right off the board there. She normally does, but overall a very good vault, 9.9. Cassidy McComb, beautiful Yurchenko 1.5. Just that hop there on the landing, but that's the best she's done with that particular vault this year. You know, and it's nice to be able to do it because everybody ahead of her hit for once. So she's able to do that vault, just a hop there on the landing, 9.925. Outstanding start for the freshman in her meet in the all-around. Emily Reimer on the bars for Kentucky. Pretty good handstand there. Pretty good giant full, blind change. Pike Jaeger, a little bit low on the catch. You'd like to see that rise a little more off the bar. Good handstand work there at the end of that routine. A little late finishing with her hips on the giant full, but she does stick the dismount. Giant full double tuck goes 9.875. Katie Heenan finishing up the lineup. Big Yurchenko full, hops there, but her toes never really leave the ground. She goes 9.95, only takes a half a tenth on that landing. Great repulsion from Katie. Beautifully done Yurchenko full, and a great score. It ties her season high. So we had a 49.475 on vault. The best start we've had all year on vault in front of a sold-out crowd at Stegman Coliseum, and we're headed over to bars. And the challenge has been all year is to keep the momentum going. So we go to bars, and Cassidy McComb, who has not been in for several weeks, gets us started on this event. Good handstand there. Good Tkachev, very nicely done. Every now and then you'll see her flex her feet. Those are good feet there so far. Giant full, bail to handstand. Toe on and off uphill. Little short there on that dismount. I'd like that to be up more. We work that every day. And then here's the full out. She sticks the landing and starts us off with a 9.9, and that is huge for the beginning of the lineup to start off that way. Andrea Mitchell over on vault for Kentucky. Yurchenko full. She does hop sideways there. You see she twists a little bit early off the table there. and goes 9.825. Marcia Newby back on bars for us. She's been in for the last several weeks. We've sort of been juggling around those first two spots. You can see that overshoot to handstand there was a little bit short for Marcia. Good handstand there from her. And even when she's short, she really locks them out and sells it. Stalder to Tkachev. A little short there on that handstand. A big Arabian double front dismount. Step there on the landing, 9.875. Tiffany Tolnay back on bars. This may be the best routine she's done all year. Good blind change. Big Jaeger. Her amplitude is great on the Jaeger, as always. Great handstand work. Overshoot to handstand, solid. Good handstand again. Giant full right on top, exactly where you want it. She had that mistake last week. Blind change to double front, and she sticks the landing, 9.925. I'm not real sure where they took the deductions that were there, but there wasn't a whole lot to take in that routine. And being early in the lineup, it's just great when we can get off to a start like that. Emily Green on vault. Yurchenko full, you see her legs flare. They come apart at the end of that vault, but a huge vault, very good amplitude. Courtney Kupets, as always, finishing out the routine, the lineup on bars. Like her to get a little tighter in the middle on the throw for that chapage. She gets a little flat sometimes when she does that. Tiny bit short on that handstand, and Courtney's got so many handstands in her routine. That's really the only thing they can consistently take. That one was nice. That was well done and on top. Good Corkina. That handstand's just a little bit short. Great double layout, sticks to landing, 9.975, and just an outstanding bar rotation, 49.55. It's the highest not only this season, but since March of 2004, we have not scored that. And again, we're ahead by a little better than 2 points after two rotations with a 99.025 to a 99.7.
The Jim Dog Show is brought to you by Melwood Springs. Melwood Springs from the Blue Ridge Mountains of North Georgia. By McCarr Homes. McCarr Homes, built with passion for over 50 years. By Brown Arrowhead Clinic. Arrowhead Clinic, Georgia's largest spinal healthcare organization. By Athens Regional Medical Center. At Athens Regional, we have a specialty. You. By Phil Hughes Honda. Phil Hughes Honda, the official Honda of the Georgia Gym Dogs. By the Georgia Club. The Georgia Club, a community of neighborhoods in Bulldog Country. And brought to you by Alpha Factor. Alpha Factor, the official gymnastics apparel worn by the Georgia Gym Dogs.
Ask Suzanne, brought to you by McCarr Homes. And this week's question is, seeing the scoring from this season and knowing that we have not had all of our top athletes in the lineup at the same time, do you think that the Georgia team this year can score a 198? And the answer is absolutely. We have scored a 49.5 on every single event during this season, and a 49.5 on 4 events is a 198, so we can definitely do it. We just need to hit all 4 events at the same night. That's Ask Suzanne, brought to you by McCarr Homes.
Welcome back. Well, that's fantastic 2 rotations, Suzanne. Probably they are the best scores that we've had on those 2 events to this point this season, a 49.475 on vault. And to see the consistency with the landings begin to get better and better and better. And then we go to bars and have the highest score that we've had since 2004. And the addition of getting Courtney McCool to be able to do an exhibition routine. Our girls have been pushing each other. We've had so much depth on that event all year long, which I think is why it's been as consistent as it has been. And now we've added another person to that sort of pool of talent. It's just a great situation we've got there.
Everyone's pushing each other every single week, and the girls know that if they want to stay in the lineup, they've got to be able to deliver when it comes time to compete. So, you know, it's not really pressure, it's competitiveness, and that's what sports is all about. So our team is really growing on those events. Now we're headed over to balance beam, and unfortunately, you know, it doesn't end up being one of our best days on beam, and that's just a bummer because last week we had a 49.5 away against Auburn. So we're going to beam. We're coming off of 2 big events. The team's expecting, you know, to carry over this momentum, but you'll see it just doesn't happen for us today.
We're headed to beam, and again, we want that 3rd event to be as strong as the first 2. If you noticed at Auburn last week, our 3rd event was floor, and we had a large lead going into that event. And sometimes it's just hard to maintain the mental focus that you need. Hillary Morrow starting us off on beam as she has for so much of the year. Really had a great year as a freshman. Switch sleep straddle jump there. She's been incredibly consistent. She's had a wrist injury and a shoulder problem that's prevented her from training vault and bars very much, but on the two events that she's been able to consistently do, she's really been a rock for us, and that's unusual as a freshman. Round off double pike, she does have a big hop there on the landing and goes 9.8, but the rest of that routine was very solid. Emily Green over on floor, as we mentioned, a very strong athlete for Kentucky, opens with a big double pike. 2.5 in the middle. Emily is a sophomore out of New York State. And a 1.5 punch front layout. Finishes with a C with plus bonuses. Not too bad. 9.875, very well done. Cassidy McComb back on balance beam. And again, Cassidy hasn't done the all-around much. Back handspring, one-arm back handspring to allow step out. A little balance check there. Punch front, very nicely done. Cassidy just seemed to be competing with a much greater level of confidence today. She seemed to really be on a mission to prove that she could handle 4 events at one time. I think both of our freshmen are capable of doing that. And again, Hillary just needs to get healthy so that she can put the time in on the other 2 events. Cassidy finishing up with a round off double full dismount. Big hop there on the landing. That's going to be a 10th, and she goes 9.8. But that's only her second time competing on beam this year, and so we're very pleased to get her back out there and get her an opportunity to compete. Heather Height, big double pike. She bounces backwards out of control on that. That's going to be a deduction. Front full to front tuck in the middle. Heather's a senior on this team. And finishes with a double tuck, very strong tumbling, 9.8, just has those landing deductions. Tiffany Tolnay back on balance beam. Switch side, big amplitude. No real issues here yet. Flip-flop layout, very solid. This routine is very solid all the way through. Punch front, very strong. No real deductions anywhere to this point. Switch sleep, straddle jump. You'd like that switch sleep to get more than 180. Probably could have taken a 1/2 a tenth there. And then here's where the big problem is, the big 10.5 or 2/10 deduction there on the dismount. She had a foot that kind of slipped on the back handspring and goes 9.8. Over to floor. Huge double layout from Hillary Ferguson to start Kentucky off. Double full in the middle. A little bit out of control in that landing. You don't want to see that front foot move when they lunge. When that happens, that's a good lunge there. See, the front foot did not move. Finishes with a double tuck. Very strong routine. 9.925. Excellent score for Kentucky over on floor. Courtney McCool, as always, starts with her signature mount. There's the front aerial connected to the series. Solid all the way through. She almost had a balance check there, but she's such a veteran competitor. She danced right through it. You don't even really notice it unless you see her every day in the gym. There's the combination with the sheep jump. Side summy. Little tiny balance check there. And you just see the poise and the grace on the routine. This routine is loaded with everything. It shows flexibility, it shows power, it shows unique skills, it shows sideways, front tumbling, back tumbling, anything you can want in a balance beam routine, this one has it. And she's getting ready for her dismount. It's a round off double full. And by far, this was the best routine of the night for any team. She does have the hop there on the landing and goes 9.925. No falls on beam, but the first 4 in the lineup really had some struggles. Actually, Nikki did fall on beam. We didn't show that highlight, but just a subpar, less than stellar beam set for us.
My name is Caroline Kilgan. I have a question for Courtney McCool. What is your favorite event?
Hi, Caroline. My favorite event is beam. I just absolutely love the adrenaline rush I get when I'm up there. For a minute and a half, I get to show everybody what I love to do, and I hope you enjoy gymnastics as much as I do.
Hi, I'm Frank Shanley, and my favorite thing about the Gym Dogs is the excitement created by a sold-out Coliseum crowd. And watching 5'2", 100-pound athletes perform. And if they happen to stick a 10, that's even more exciting than a touchdown against Tech. Go, Gym Dogs.
Now we're headed over to floor exercise. The team's a little down. Hopefully they can bring it back up.
Well, you start to notice a little bit of a pattern. It seems to be that it's that third event when we get out these really large leads, and when we're at home, the third event is beam, and when we're away, it's floor. And so you notice that we get out to these large leads, and it just takes a little bit of the edge off mentally, I think, and they're not quite as sharp as we'd like them to be when they go to that event. Now, after a subpar beam rotation, if pattern holds true, we'll have a great floor rotation because the edge is back on, and they start to understand that they got to get it corrected. And so we head over to floor now, and let's take a look at the highlights from floor. Abby's been in the leadoff spot quite a bit this year when she's gone on floor. And if you remember last week, she fell on this pass. This week, triple full is all the way around, very good. You can see she almost loses her balance as she moves into the choreography there. Double full punch front, very well done. And then finishes strong with a double pike. One of the better double pikes she's done. Chest was up a little higher. She lands it very cleanly and has that unique finish to her routine that the crowd loves. And Abby goes 9-9. It's a very energetic routine from Abby. Katie Heenan, for the first time this season. Just nice to have the senior leadership get back on the floor. Front double full punch front. You don't do that pass a whole lot better than that. I don't know that I've seen that done any better from anybody. She comes back with a double pike, and the goal is to move this to the last pass. You can see she's still not used to her landings, and she drags that front full a little bit out of control. Last pass is a C with bonus, so that will move to the middle, and we'll move the double pike to the last pass, and that should be the answer for Katie to be a little better. 9.875 is her score. Cassidy McComb closing out her all-around for tonight on floor. Opens with a double pike. Very well done, and Cassidy dances like no other on the team. She and Courtney McCool probably have the best dance presentation along with Nikki Childs. Just really performs. Nice double toe turn. That can be a triple toe turn. She's done it that way. Her dance basics are just very, very good. She came to us with great training in those areas. Front full to front layout. Her club coaches spent a lot of time with her on floor at a young age. You can tell Cassie Rice from Gym Cats out in Las Vegas has done a great job with coaching Cassidy up to be a great performer. And you just see the presence. She's playing to the crowd, playing to the judges, and those are the things that you look for when you're looking for the whole package. It's not all about the tumbling. It's not all about the dance. You want to get a little bit of both, and Cassidy certainly has all the components for floor exercise. She finishes here. This is a very difficult pass to finish with. 2.5 punch front tuck. Excellent. Very, very nicely done. That's very hard to do at the end of a floor routine when you're winded and gassed to do that pass. That's a D plus 0.2 of bonus. So 9.925, and just an outstanding meet for the freshman to compete in the all-around in front of the home crowd. Now Tiffany Tolnay, the junior. She's had a great meet as well on this night. She finishes up on floor. This Arabian double is the best one we've seen her do all year. Very solid landing. That's the way you want to land those. Comes back with a 2.5 punch front of her own in the middle. Very well done. Finishes with a double pike. Is a little bit low on the landing. This is probably the only deduction of the whole routine for her, and it's a 10th right there. And she does go 9-9, but just a solid performance. We'd like that to be a little stronger at the end of that routine. She looked a little winded. And we're going to have to address that in the gym, try to get a little more numbers in for her. Courtney McCool finishing up on floor for us. Again, we're without coupettes on this event. 2.5 punt front full. That's a D to a C. That's incredibly difficult pass to do. Whip immediate double full in the middle. Courtney dances right out of it. And she's going to finish with an E-level pass. You see the crowd getting into the dance with her. This is only our third meet, but they're starting to pick up on some of the choreography of our girls. That's an E-level pass, a front double full, finishes very, very strong, goes 9.95, and that is her 7th score of 9.9 or better this year. So we win floor again. It's the 7th time out of 8 meets that we've won floor, and it's a great way to finish the meet. and get our highest all-around total of the year with a 197.65.
Routine of the Week, brought to you by Athens Regional Medical Center, and this week's Routine of the Week is freshman Cassie McComb as she does a Yurchenko with a 1.5 twist for a score of 9.925. That's Routine of the Week, brought to you by Athens Regional Medical Center.
Countdown to the NC2As brought to you by Melwood Springs, and as you can see, 5 SEC teams in the top 11. Georgia leads the pack at number 1, Florida 3rd, Alabama is 5th, LSU 8th, and rounding out that top 11 is Arkansas at number 11. And that's Countdown to the NC2As brought to you by Melwood Springs.
Well, there you have it. As it turns out, even with that subpar performance on balance beam, our team finishes the competition with our highest score so far in this season. And if we can continue this streak next week against Arkansas, this will be our 3rd year in a row that we will go through the regular season in the SEC undefeated. So a win is great. We finished strong on floor exercise. The team is feeling good, and now it's time to get it back together and refocus for Arkansas.
Right, and it's an opportunity to go undefeated in the conference for the 9th year out of the last 12 years. So just a great opportunity for us to kind of put another notch in our belt as we get ready for the SEC championships as they're right around the corner. And we're very excited to be home again this weekend. And it should be another close to sellout crowd, hopefully a sellout, so buy your tickets. And we'll see you next week as we show you the highlights from the University of Arkansas.
The Jim Dog Show has been brought to you by Melwood Springs. Melwood Springs from the Blue Ridge Mountains of North Georgia. By Makar Homes. Makar Homes, built with passion for over 50 years. By Brown Arrowhead Clinic. Arrowhead Clinic, Georgia's largest spinal healthcare organization. By Athens Regional Medical Center. At Athens Regional, we have a specialty, you. By Phil Hughes Honda. Phil Hughes Honda, the official Honda of the Georgia Gym Dogs. By the Georgia Club. The Georgia Club, a community of neighborhoods in Bulldog country. And brought to you by Alpha Factor. Alpha Factor, the official gymnastics apparel worn by the Georgia Gym Dogs.